Hey, Mike Wolfe from Mike Wolfe Mastery. Today coming to you from my hometown of Calgary, Canada. And I just wanted to reach out, firstly, because a lot of my friends are worried about me. I haven't been, most of you who know me know that I travel around the world pretty much full time. And so some of my friends who haven't heard from me in a little bit, because I haven't really been posting much, usually on Facebook I post pictures of my travels around this beautiful planet of ours. And obviously, since I'm not traveling and I'm in lockdown mode here, there's not a lot really that I've been posting at all. So some of my friends assume, because I went from being traveling full time to having my wings clipped, that I'd be miserable and depressed and sad and whatever, and nothing could be further from the truth. So I want to share with you what's going on in my life and some of the strategies that I use to stay positive and happy and fulfilled, and you can do the same things too. And how you perceive all this is going to make or break how you come out of this when this is all over, what life looks like for you. And I know for some of you, this is the worst thing that's ever happened and may continue to be the worst thing that ever happened to you. And for others, if you know how to prepare for this and what's coming after this, this could actually, one day you're going to look back and think this was the best time of my life. As weird as that sounds, I guarantee that. And I think for me, that's going to be the case. So let me just share with you some of the things that I find really help during times like these. Number one, all the time, whether there's something going on like a pandemic or every day, you should practice gratitude. You need to be happy and appreciative for the things that you've got. And so even right now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, I feel like there's nothing to be grateful for. Well, right now, I'm grateful for the time. I'm normally running around and I've got deadlines and flights to catch. And, I'm at airports and I'm just feeling really grounded right now. I've been able to sleep a little bit more, get better rest, have more time to learn, have more time to teach, which is why I'm creating this video, and also prepare myself for what the world is going to look like when this virus goes away. Obviously, the economy is going to look probably a little different than it did before this happened. There's going to be a lot of people in distress that need our help. And so I'm recommending that you rise up to the challenge, become a leader if you're not already, and be a role model for those other people that are fearful, and show them that there's a lot of positivity and a lot of beautiful things to take advantage of right now, even while we're stuck in lockdown. So number one is gratitude. And one of the things that's really helped me with that a lot is during my travels, I've done a lot of humanitarian projects and a lot of volunteering. And one of my projects involved going to a place called Vanuatu, which is, these are some islands between Australia and New Zealand. And a number of years ago, probably it must be like 2 or 3 years ago now, they got hit by a hurricane, or a cyclone as they call it there. And there were parts of the islands that did not have any clean drinking water. So myself and a number of other entrepreneurs raised some money, bought and brought some water filters, taught them how to use it. And after you see something like that, when you come home, the fact you can turn a tap and magically clean water appears, like, you've got to be grateful for that. The other thing that we all have to be grateful for, if you're watching this right now, I'm so grateful for the internet. We can still communicate with each other. Imagine if this would have happened, in the 80s or 70s, before there was internet, and we were all isolated and we had no idea what was going on. Like, we are so fortunate to be able to still communicate, help each other, keep each other, have online communities. Maybe they're not live and in person, but have, online communities where we can reach out and support each other. And that's something to be grateful for. There's just so many things to be grateful for, even though we're in lockdown. Like, we've got it pretty good. The other thing, that I've realized from my travels is our bad day is somebody else's dream life. I know people would love to have, the fact, okay, we're going to grocery stores and we're beating each other up over toilet paper and food. where to the point where they have to ration it. There's people that deal with that every single day, food rations. Sometimes there's people that would kill to have ration food, any food. So there's a lot of things that we take for granted that other people dream of having. And so, this is actually a really good time. One of the things I'm grateful for is this time to reflect on all the things that, that we have in life and some of the things that we take for granted. Like I've been to so many, different countries on this planet. I'm so grateful for how beautiful this planet is. And even though right now I can't explore it, I have no doubt in my mind that sometime in the not too distant future, I'll be able to do that again. So we've got certain freedoms, we've got certain luxuries that other people wish they had. And on top of it, now I think one of the great things is we have time. We have this spare time that we can, hopefully you're using it wisely. So I know, and we're going to get to this in a minute, a lot of you are sitting there glued to the TV and you're frightful and you're scared and you don't know where your next check is coming from. You don't know if you've got a job. There's so many things to be scared of, but you could also use this time to, well, actually, let me get to the next step first because this ties in nicely. So the second thing is control. Everybody has such a need to control things. And there's a lot of things right now that are not in our control. So we can either sit there and mope around for the things that we have no say over, that we can't have, we have no, there's nothing we can do to get rid of this virus for the typical person on the street. There's some people that are working obviously on cures, and we're grateful for those people and the doctors and nurses and people on the front lines that are dealing with all this. But for most of us that are stuck at home right now, we can either sit there glued to the TV, watching every little development, which is usually not a good, especially if it's a media. They're not putting a lot of positivity out there, or you can take this time to educate yourself and figure out what are you going to do when this all ends. When we come out of this, what's the world going to look like? What are people going to need? You could be the solution to other people's problems. So you have a choice now where you could educate yourself, step up to the plate, be a leader, start building a following of people who respect you and look up to you, and then help these people either during these tough times or after these tough times. We know obviously the economy is going to look different. A lot of things are going to look different post coronavirus. So for me, I'm an expert at real estate investing for one. And so I'm going to be creating a bunch of courses to help people, how to become real estate investors when we come out, coming out of this. What are people going to be? There's going to be a lot of people desperate to get rid of their homes. And how can we create win-wins where we can help these people maybe get into something more affordable or a better fit for them, and at the same time monetize it for ourselves so that we're winning, they're winning. And so I'm creating courses like that. But everybody has something they're an expert at. And so start listing, maybe write down some of the things that people come to you for help with, things that you're really good at. Maybe instead of relying and hoping, that you have your job back when this is all over, figure out now's the time to re-educate yourself and get yourself prepared for where we're headed, as opposed to hoping if you worked in retail or a restaurant, a lot of these things are probably not going to reopen. So get yourself educated, watch online courses, read lots of books. Just take this time, instead of watching the news and getting upset over all these things out of your control, take the things that you do have control over, like what you're putting in your brain and the things that you're feeding yourself mentally and physically for that matter. But the things that you're putting in there are going to dictate how you walk away from this virus once it ends. And once you got our freedom back, are you going to be able to go out there and, change the world and do great things? Or are you going to let this take you down where, you're going to be looking for handouts from the government? Be the person that goes and takes advantage of what lays ahead. There's going to be so many opportunities and so many people needing our help. And so, when I look at when we look at the Great Depression, in the late 1920s and early 1930s, we look at that recession that happened, it started, 2007-ish. those were the greatest transfers of wealth in history. And so the people that were prepared were able to take advantage of it. A lot of people that were previously poor got to move up the ladder, and a lot of people that had a lot of assets, they ended up losing them all during those times. And the thing that separated those people that were successful from the ones that weren't were the mindset. It was how they perceived things, how they looked at things. So you can either look at this as an amazing opportunity and educate yourself on how to take advantage of it, or you can become a victim of this whole thing and just cower in the corner and let it be the be all and end all and just end everything for you. So that's another important thing, is control what goes in here, because it's going to dictate how, if you're happy, if you're sad, if you're fulfilled, if you're unfulfilled, if you're optimistic or pessimistic. And so keep positive and keep moving ahead, keep moving yourself forward. Also, another thing, one last thing I want to put out there is, in these times of, at least perceived scarcity, where people are bashing each other over the head to get toilet paper, it's freaking crazy. So one of the important things is to be kind. And so I recommend going out there and doing acts of kindness for strangers, for friends, for neighbors. Maybe if you're going grocery shopping, see what your neighbor needs. Instead of more people going to the grocery store, you go this time, they go next time. For most of us, we can't even go somewhere to get coffee, but if you are, get the person behind you a coffee. Just do kind acts. And I find that, over the years, I've done a lot of give back stuff, and that's the stuff that really fulfills me. And I find that every time I give, it comes back 100 times over. Now, I give without any expectation. I don't do it hoping it's going to come back to me, but it always does. And so be the person who's out there making other people smile, other people happy, and you will be happy. And I guarantee you will be rewarded in ways that you didn't even expect. So I hope this helps. I'm going to be creating a lot of content during this downtime. And so make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get all of it as soon as I release it. Make sure you take care of yourselves, your friends, your family, your neighbors. Be safe. And I can't wait to see all of you once we get our freedom back. So start thinking about what that is going to look like. Go out there and get ready to crush it, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks so much.